A committee of the Texas House took up a controversial bill that would make illegally crossing the border a state crime, then that would allow for the immediate arrest of people in Texas illegally.
Governor Abbott made border security a priority for his third special session. Fox 4's Sean Rabb is in studio with more. Sean.
Yes, as you say, it's not a criminal offense to enter the state illegally right now. This would change that. Also, there's a similar bill in the Senate right now. This bill, though, not only allows for people to be arrested, but any peace officer in the state would have the power to drive an undocumented person to a border port of entry and order them to leave the country. If they refuse, they could face legal consequences.
House Bill 4 is a landmark bill that allows Texans to protect Texas and to send illegal immigrants back and to prosecute and incarcerate those that refuse to leave.
The bill creates new criminal law, and it's the House version of Senate Bill 11, which would make it a crime punishable by a year in jail to be here illegally. In some ways, the House bill goes further. While it is a Class B misdemeanor to be here illegally, it could increase to a felony if someone refuses to leave the state. And peace officers would be able to arrest someone or drive them to a border port of entry. Plus, local governments would have to secure law enforcement from legal liability.
We see House Bill 4 as a good bill, a constitutional bill, and a bill that ought to be enacted into law.
Others disagree, saying the liability this bill would transfer to counties would be overwhelming.
Not only for the incarceration and the holding, but also the adjudication, the probation, and all the things that go along with creating a new offense. And that new offense falls directly on counties, not the state.
Dallas Democrat State Rep Victoria Neave Criado questioned whether Texas can remove people here illegally.
Are we concerned about lawsuits and perhaps violation of not only the federal laws, but our Texas Constitution as well?
They're not transported out of the state. They're taken to a U.S. port of entry, and they are ordered to go back.
And if they refuse, they could face prosecution with a possible penalty if convicted of 2 to 20 years in prison. Tarrant County Democrat Chris Turner.
If someone is present in this state, anywhere in this state, unlawfully, they could be arrested under this bill.
I don't believe so. And the reason I say that...
Where in the bill does it say they can?
While it's not spelled out, Spiller says that is not the bill's intent.
The purpose is to stop what's going on right now at the border. The purpose is not to incarcerate everyone here in the state of Texas that may be here illegally.
So the measure expected to easily pass out of committee. The Senate has again a similar proposal that would penalize by 1 year in jail anyone caught without proper documentation. Steve?
All right, Sean Rabb, thank you very much.